Did you know that to be called ice cream, your dessert has to contain at least 1.6 pounds of total solids to the gallon, weigh not less than 4.5 pounds to the gallon, and contain not less than 20% total milk solids constituted of not less than 10% milk fat? The point here is that a lot of things in our day-to-day lives are governed by exacting standards that you and I have no clue about. And that's why we're talking about SBS format today. I'm Michael Vuk, and this is Automation Academy, where we look to demystify the world of lab automation a little bit. So back in the mid-1990s, these things called microplates were becoming really popular in the lab world. The problem with them was every manufacturer made them a little bit differently. Sometimes the same manufacturer would make two different lines of microplates to different dimensions. This got messy in the lab, and folks quickly realized we needed an industry standard for manufacturers to follow. In 1995, the Society of Biomolecular Screening was formed, and one of the first items on the agenda was creating that standard. Over the next few years, they worked together, and they determined things like how wide and long should each plate be, how far apart should the wells be, all these things that enable you to use lab automation or tools like, say, a multi-channel pipettor effectively. Just like we have definitions for how much milk fat goes into a piece of ice cream, we now know that on a 96 well plate, you need to have a 9mm raster spacing with your wells. That way you can come down with something like a multi-channel pipettor that was designed to meet that specification, or a 96 head on a robot that can stamp an entire plate. It's pretty cool. These formats also enable things like track grippers on robotic arms to come in with a spacing on those grippers and pick up all of your plates and move it instead of having to change heads out to have different sorts of grippers. So next time things work across all of the different brands of microplate you use, whether that be manually pipetting or using automation, give a little thanks to the guys over at SBS that designed that. Point of clarification, you might also hear some of this talked about as SLAS or ANSI standards. So that's the Society for Laboratory Automation and Screening. And SLAS is actually the modern version of SBS. They merged with another group back in 2010, I believe it was. ANSI is the American National Standards Institute, and they oversee trade standards like these. So now you know. We've learned something today, hopefully, and had fun while doing it. If there's something you'd like to hear talked about, shoot me a DM. Have a great day.